Hello and welcome to the Nth Engine Gaming. I'm Sam, and today on Cities Skylines we continue basically where we left off. I've added a few extra roads to the city, but it's nothing noteworthy, and you join me back at this road junction, and I just find this very satisfying. The game has now had time to adjust to the junction, and as you can see, it runs incredibly smoothly. They go into the correct lanes, right where the painted lines on the road are. And having two separate lanes works wonders at easing congestion, which I expect will get a lot worse as this is currently the main road into the city. I'm also going to adjust the speed limits here, as each road has its own default speed limit. Using Traffic Manager you can change these defaults, but with the DLC and workshop content there is an awful lot of roads, tram, train, metro lines to change. I'll get around to it at some point, but really I think I'd be better changing them ad hoc, as they aren't too far off what they need to be at the minute. For some reason, vehicles here don't change lanes at the right time, so I'm adjusting the road markings to match when they move. Unfortunately, I can't change where the road itself moves, so it looks a bit scruffy, but I can't do anything about that in a minute. At this point, I decided to add a road coming from the main road straight to the industrial region of the city. This will help massively with inbound traffic, however, it will be a little bit of an issue with outbound traffic. I do plan to come up with a more permanent solution eventually, this is just a temporary fix. And now I'm going to zone more area as I have a little demand. It seems prudent to have retail on the main road, and also I'm going to start filling in this big empty space with a quite big retail park. So I just had the idea that I hadn't looked at my statistics bar for quite a while. So all I'm going to do here is quickly look through everything. There's a few reasons for this. One is to make sure my city is covered with as much services as possible, but also if I'm too flush with one particular service, like water availability for example, I will turn the funding down a bit, meaning the city still receives enough clean water, but also there is more profit for the city's coffers. This early in the game the difference is almost unnoticeable, however over an in-game month it can make quite a difference, and in the later game this can be the difference between 10, 20, 30,000 a pop. So to me, it is worth micromanaging. So going through the information bar on the left has shown me that the happiness in this area is quite low, as is the high school education. So to counteract this, I've simply plopped down a small park and a high school to keep the levels up, as well as a basketball court and I believe a tennis court, as that makes sense being in close proximity to a high school. As I've been through the information bar and fixed what I feel needed to be fixed, I now continue to fill in D-zoned areas. And as I want this to be a retail park only, I'm going to fill in the area with concrete. As mentioned in a previous video, the addition of any path connecting to not even remotely different areas will encourage the Kims to walk or take a push bike. So here I'm just surveying the traffic on this new path I've created. And as you can see, it's already seeing a moderate amount of use, which will only grow as the city does. For me, the money spent on that path is well worth the decrease in vehicle traffic. We've just unlocked another new milestone. We are now a boomtown with a population of 2,600. This has granted us the ability to buy a new plot of land. We have new transport options, including ferries, buses, taxis and trams. We can also build level 3 unique buildings and can specialise industries to mining ore. We also have new policies, including emphasising recycling, recreational drug use, use of ferries and extra insulation, and gas or electricity only powered heating, as well as a ton of new roads which will give a lot more options going forward, heated pipeline which I will talk about in a second, and new buildings including advanced wind turbines, cemeteries, a bus, taxi and tram depot, a boiler and geothermal heating plant which we'll also talk about in a second, an ambicopter depot, small emergency shelter, a radio mast, tank reservoir and several ferry services that we won't talk about as they'll almost certainly not be used on this map. Workshop content and DLC has certainly added a lot of stuff when you level up. Also some new monuments to unlock. We won't talk about them as I'll talk about them when I unlock them or alternatively go to place them down. Now, the Snowfall DLC gave us the addition of preheated water. either from a boiler or geothermal plant that travels along upgraded pipelines. Naturally, we have no use for this as this is a warm weather map. However, I have a mod installed that allows me to change that. So what I will do is eventually, as time passes, I will change the map to a winter map. Hope that it doesn't mess too much of the said map up and play a period in the snow. Unfortunately, I have a ton of footage recorded, and while I'm recording in the snow right now for Christmas, as I struggle to find time to edit and publish, they probably won't appear for a while. But at that time, snow dumps, boilers, heated pipes will all be brought into effect as of and when it's needed. As of right this second, it wouldn't be needed. It is technically cheating, as the city would probably have these services ready for winter, as it comes around every year. But unfortunately, Cities Skylines doesn't use real or even scaled time properly, so I've left it as a challenge as of and when winter is here. So here I'm just going to place a radio mast down. It is a little bit bigger than I would like, but unfortunately there aren't any other alternatives. What this mast does is it covers the area seen with radio signal, meaning any incoming disasters that are detected can be broadcast to citizens, giving them the chance to flee. And here again I'm just surveying the land and seeing where I want the new downtown to be, and marking it with the region tool. This will only be a rough guide, and I'll probably adjust it as I start to build into it. As this is a small area with quite a lot of road junctions close together, it will probably start getting really bad for traffic, so I decided to turn it into a roundabout. Again, hopefully nipping any traffic problems in the bud before they become a major concern. I start out with a 2-lane, one-way street and get it into a perfect circle. As you've probably noticed with this game, connecting roads onto a perfect circle makes it a not so perfect blob. However, thanks to the precision tool, most of this blobbing can be negated. What I'm trying to do is find the perfect size for this roundabout. I don't want it to be too big, however, it needs to be a certain size if I want to successfully connect roads to it properly. Now I've made the perfect circle, I can start connecting roads to it. With the lane modifier from the traffic manager, connecting roads straight to it works perfectly fine. However, I did want to try and jazz it up by making specific entry and exit lanes. I've done this by a combination of the Road Anarchy mod and modded new roads. In this case, specifically by using 2 one-lane, one-way roads on and off the roundabout. Upgrading the road to a highway removes any unnecessary pedestrian crossings and cars parking on the roundabout itself. While Traffic Manager can do both these things, I find it much neater and satisfying to not have crossings plonked on it. Also, the AI seem to act a bit better with entering and exiting, though I will still edit the lanes to make this smoother. With this road I could not get the lane system to work, so I ended up settling with having the main road connection. As it's a minor road, I think in hindsight it's probably more realistic this way. Now, to cap off this episode, I'm going to give another look at how I lane roundabouts, with many exits and entrances. It's mostly the same as the smaller ones, or British ones. On most British roundabouts, the left-hand lane goes to the first and second exit, whereas the right-hand lane goes third and beyond. In this game, if you allow a vehicle to pass an exit on the outside lane, all vehicles will either only go in the left-hand lane, as they can go around indefinitely, or they will just go wherever they want, and it creates chaos, and worse than that, traffic jams. So the system I go with is, on the roundabout, the left-hand lane takes the next exit. If there's more than 3 or 4 exits, this should mean that more traffic will be on the right-hand lane, on or on approach to the roundabout. For the most part, this works fine. However, there are a few exceptions. Most notable, if everyone is coming from the same direction, going to the same direction, you need more lanes open to go in that direction. However, this is a problem I'll talk through when I come across it. With that, I hope I've been informative, I hope you've enjoyed watching. Any likes, subscriptions, comments or feedback are greatly appreciated. My name's Sam, this has been the Nth Engine Gaming. Thank you and see you next time on my Let's Play of Cities Skylines.